Good morning. I sincerely hope that you have had a good weekend and are ready and raring to go at the start of another week. A poignant week in the school calendar, because in the middle of this week we will be holding our Remembrance Service and we'll be carrying out the act of remembrance here at school. The Remembrance Service will be beamed out, recorded at 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and if Mr. Philp manages to grapple successfully with the technology, we will be airing the act of remembrance live on Wednesday here from school between 10 to 11 and shortly thereafter. And then at the end of the week we do of course have our charity day supporting children in need, a nice light end to the week where all pupils are invited to come along dressed in home clothes with an emphasis on spots, and we sincerely hope that you would be willing to bring at least a £1 donation to support that cause. But I thought I would start the week considering the concept of remembrance, remembering and memory. And I guess it falls on two levels. Parents, how often do our children forget things? Pupils, how often over 25 years do you think I have had the excuse, "Sir, I forgot"? Answers on a postcard. It runs into the hundreds, I'm sure. So on one level, as we get older, we must try our very best to remember things, not to forget. And I guess that's down to organisation. It's much easier, I assure you, if you have a personal assistant running around after you, reminding you of stuff you have to do. If you've got a great big diary full of information. But we must all, young, not so young, try to remember and get ourselves organised. So there is a lesson in that. But on another level, remembering, particularly as you get older, is something that brings joy, happiness, smiles, and I can certainly speak from personal experience about some of the memories that I have. I can remember the day I appeared at Westhouse School at the age of 8 to do my assessment. I can remember where I sat. I can remember meeting the then headmaster, Mr. Juice, and his wife, Mrs. Juice, who looked after me on that morning. I can remember my first day at Westhouse School, going into Woodbourne, where there was a classroom then, and meeting boys whom I am still friends with now, Sheldon and Alex. And these are very, very fond memories that I recall now and again and make me smile. I can look back on later life, and as you are well aware, I lost my wife 3 years ago, getting on for 3 years now, and I have reached a point where I can look back, surrounded by photographs, and remember really very, very happy times indeed. And when I'm feeling a little low, these memories give me a boost. They pick me up, and I'm delighted to say I can smile. In the middle of this week, we will all be invited to look back and to remember. And in particular, we will be remembering those Westhouse old boys who have perhaps given the greatest sacrifice of all in conflict, in fighting for their country. It is not a celebration. It is not glorifying war. But I think it is important that we as a community come together, pause, and remember those old boys of this school who perhaps might once have been sitting where you are sitting now. So I sincerely hope, parents in particular who might be watching this, that you will join us remotely for our Remembrance service, and, assuming things work out, that you join us just before 11 o'clock on Wednesday for our act of remembrance. In the meantime, have a good week.